Now, this episode is about adultery. And like I started the other episodes, I want to start this with a word of caution. If you find yourself a victim of adultery, now remember, the English dictionary term means voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and a person who is not their spouse. Jesus doesn't teach that if someone cheats on you, it's an automatic green light for divorce. Although it's an option, should you wish to pursue that route. Again, like I mentioned in the episode on reconciliation, there are marriages that have gone through this process and are now happily married. Likewise, when someone commits adultery, the hurt and the pain that they have caused sometimes can cattle prod them into yielding their lives to the Lord in repentance and end up being great husbands and fathers, or being great wives and mothers. What I want to say is this: I think sometimes we can falsely believe that adultery or infidelity ends our marriage vows. It doesn't. So we stop trying to keep the covenant. Remember, your marriage is still a covenant even if someone has committed adultery. Yes, of course, it's a violation of the covenant, and Jesus does provide us, or provide you, with an out clause. Let me read it, for example. It's been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. See, the word there, sexual immorality, is the Greek word porneia, and it is any type of sexual practice outside your marriage. It can also mean bestiality. We won't go there. And it can mean incest, and I'm sure you know what that means. Any type of illicit sexual intercourse outside your marriage bed is classed as adultery. Now, Jesus was talking to the Pharisees here. Now, remember, the Pharisees believed at that time that they could divorce their wives for any reason at all. And Jesus was bringing them back and reminding them that it was not God's intention. It was actually the hardness of their hearts which allowed Moses to offer divorce to the people. But it's a lifelong commitment that should be protected. And here Jesus limits this out clause only to adultery. Now, we do know that there are other reasons for divorce, such as abandonment. We'll do in the next video. But Jesus here is bringing back the sanctity of marriage, that it is a covenant between a man and a woman who become one flesh. So I would just end in saying this: if you or your partner has committed adultery, you can still work it out. Remember, Christianity is about forgiveness and restoration, and who knows, look at my episode on reconciliation, who God can make your spouse. We tend to see only with our eyes and forget what God sees, the potential in our partner. Number two, if you can't work it out, if you've tried and your partner is unrepentant in their adultery, then divorce is an option. Number three, is remarriage an option? Well, some scholars say no, and some scholars say yes. I know that's not very helpful, but for me, I believe if you are a victim and have tried your hardest to restore the marriage, and a divorce takes place and you're not to blame for it, I believe God offers his mercy and grace to that innocent party, and the conclusion I make is that you're free to remarry. Now, I want to again place a big caution there. There are people who disagree with me, so it's very important that you read the scriptures for yourself and ask the Lord to show you clearly if you can remarry.